So hi, welcome to Binge Buddy, 9 Nights with Freddy. Always tough to get that first title out, and I think this is probably the best I've had. Like as a clean entry, 9 Nights with Freddy. Oh, that's going to be a tongue twister.
We should have done instead of saying Freddy, we should have said 9 Nights with Nightmare Guy.
Oh yeah, that would have been way more difficult for me to say.
Yes,
so I'm glad
exactly.
we didn't. I mean, one of the proposed titles was what was it? Dreams aren't made with any of the shit here. Like that would have been much more difficult for me to say, but it made me laugh more. But you know, we ended up with 9 Nights with Freddy, which is it's a fun one. I like it. Starting a new franchise off, back to murdering teenagers. Not as many teenagers as we're used to with our slasher franchises. The body count does go up as we get deeper into the franchise. But between Michael and Jason, I think the fewest amount of people die in this one.
Yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong. And much like when we covered Friday the 13th, we said we're not going to compare this to Michael Myers the whole time, and then we kind of did the whole time. We're not going to compare this to Michael Myers and Jason Voorhees the whole time, but we kind of might. And it might also be part of our ranking episode since we've finally done the holy horror trinity. Is that how you call it, Ryan?
Unholy trinity of
Thank
horror.
you, unholy trinity of horror. We're gonna.
I guess this one's less likely to be compared though because we actually have more of a character in Freddy
That's
Krueger.
very true.
That's very
I
true.
think the comparisons will be more so in concept of 80s slashers. Like, because if these were the three titans, like where did they differ? And they do differ a lot. Whereas like Jason, the MPAA had them in their scopes at all time. It's like, fuck you, no blood in your movies. When it came to Nightmare on Elm Street, they're like, do what you want. So it's like
And he did.
and they did. So the fact that these were coming out on the same times, I have to imagine everyone at Paramount was like, what the fuck?
Okay,
had to be the most
what have
frustrating.
New Line got on you, MPAA?
Yeah.
What have they got on you?
Like,
You
Well, they weren't expecting it. Like this is
Yeah.
the first one in the series, so they were so focused on Jason and Michael that this kind of just flew right past.
Oh yeah,
So-
like I have to imagine like Tom Savini sitting down in the theater, like, "Ooh, Wes Craven. I like Wes Craven. This is gonna be. How the fuck was he able to do all this? Like, I have to imagine, especially some of these this franchise gets violent, and I have to imagine the horror culture at the time just had to be like, "Fuck you," like just fuck you.
I think
Sorry, I'm really
what
taking
it
advantage
is,
of being able to
like-
swear again. This is really nice being out of the good place. Can be able to say these words again. It's like, I can breathe.
What is quite interesting though is like even though it is really violent, it was still cut by the
Yeah.
MPA. So like I just got the other day the new 4K Blu-ray, and there is two options: uncut or theatrical. It's literally like 9 seconds of difference. I don't know why they bothered, really. Like who's going, no, I want to watch the theatrical. Those 9 seconds are too much for me.
I just can't handle the extra bucket of blood. 20 buckets of blood, I'm okay, but 21? No. I don't want to lose my lunch. But really quick before we get started on today's movie, let's kind of go around the table. Where are we all at on the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise? Like how big of fans are we? How much have we seen? And I'll go first. So I've seen the first one, I've seen the second one. I saw New Nightmare. That's the one that Wes directed again at the end of the franchise. Freddy vs. Jason, and then the remake because my wife worked on it. Not a big fan of the remake, but my wife worked on it, so it holds a special place in my heart. But woof, what a rough watch. We'll get there. But that's kind of where I'm at. It's not my favorite of the trilogy. That's why I haven't gone back and watched all of them like I had the other ones. I think Robert Englund is great. I think he's a really like magnetic bad guy, but for some reason just I'm for the guy who stalks teenagers in the woods with a hockey mask. That's just what my brand of horror. But we'll see. Maybe he can swing me more on the side, much like Michael Myers did. Michael Myers was not my favorite guy. It was always like, he's fine. I like the first one, and now I'm like a very big Michael Myers fan. I wear Michael Myers shirts. I love Halloween stuff now. So he really rose in my ranks. Let's see if Freddy can do it too. Matt, where are you at? Or Ryan, go ahead.
Okay, so I've seen them all. I've grown up with horror movies, so Freddy is he's part of the unholy trinity. Without these three modern day slashers would not be where they are. But the best part about Freddy is you have a character, as we kind of mentioned. You know, Michael and Jason walk around. Freddy taunts. and that brings a new layer, but you don't really get that taunting. There's taunting in this one, but it really becomes apparent as we move on, and the taunting gets more funny as the sequels go on and more ridiculous they are. But I mean, I love the first four. Dream Warriors is great. 4 is fun. 5 and 6 are god awful. And 7 is, in my opinion, the best thing since sliced bread in terms of this series. I really enjoy Robert Englund and understanding his character. I like Nightmare on Elm Street. It's not my favorite out of the 3, but I still like it.
Cool. Joel, where are you at in this one?
I've seen Freddy versus Jason.
I mean, I hope you've seen this one as well.
And you've seen Nightmare on Elm Street.
Well, now I have, yeah. I don't have much affinity for it. I knew the character because it's impossible to not know these characters if you're anywhere within spitting distance of pop culture references. So this was a pleasant surprise. Like I wasn't, not that I was down on it, but I sort of had a blank slate, and bitch is about the only thing I knew about it with finger claws. So yeah.
Cool. And
For
Matt,
me,
where you at?
I've
I
seen.
should have said your nicknames at this point. I totally skipped nicknames this week. We'll bring them back next week. It's okay.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Totally skipped them. Just skipped them entirely. We'll bring them back next week. It's okay.
That's fine.
They're gardening tools. It's not gonna be that exciting.
I I'd seen the first one quite a while ago, actually. It'd been a long while, to the point where when I was rewatching this, I'd forgotten how the opening credits actually showed him making the finger
gloves.
knives.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is quite a cool way of sort of like starting it. Then I've seen Freddy vs. Jason, and that's about it, apart from channel hopping when I was maybe like 12 or 13 and seeing little snippets of, I think, 2 and 3 possibly. There's just like, I have like in my mind, it's like I have a memory of Freddy Krueger's face speaking, but it's someone else's voice. And then another one where he's got like really wide eyes in a bedroom and he's like coming towards someone, and that kind of freaked me out a little bit. But that's about it. I don't even know which ones those were from, if at all. Maybe my memory's just changed that so much I don't remember.
Sounds right. Like, I know for me, the image that always bothered me when I was a kid was like the TV with Freddy's head. I don't know which one that's in, but like that always bothered me for some reason. I don't know why, it just looked weird.
Yeah.
Do you remember which one that's in, Ryan?
Which one? What was that?
The TV with Freddy's head on top.
That's 3.
That's in 3. Okay.
Welcome to prime time, bitch.
Yeah, even the quote.
I mean, like I said, I've seen clips of it as well. Like in recent years, I've seen clips of it watching like various documentaries. Like I watched the documentary about Robert Englund, which is fantastic, by the way.
Great show.
I can't remember the actual name of it, but it's a really good documentary about him. So I think I've seen, of the sequels, I've seen more just little snippets here and there. Like I know the Welcome to Primetime bitch and all that sort of stuff, but I haven't actually seen that film. So this is going to be an interesting watch for me as well, to see how badly it goes downhill, and like, whether is it as far as a drop as Halloween. Let's find out.
Halloween drop is rough. You
Yeah.
can't start as high as you do with Halloween and go as low as you go. Holy shit.
Halloween is like the king of the oh my god, why am I blanking on the thing? The stick, and you
Carrot before the stick.
no, where you have to get under the stick without knocking it off.
Limbo?
Limbo, yeah. Yeah, let's try that joke again. Halloween is the king of limbo.
But I don't understand the joke.
Because it goes so low.
Oh, okay. I'm getting you now. I'm like, wait, what? Okay, now I actually like the joke.
See, what's great about jokes is when you explain why it's a joke to someone, it makes it so much funnier. And also when everyone else helps you construct the joke, because your own stupid brain can't think of the fucking word that you were going to say.
To be fair, it did actually work this one time. All right, let's dive into this thing. So like when we try to cover movies, we're going to do our best to move through chronologically as we can. These things are a little bit tough, especially when it comes to horror movies, because really what you're here for is like the kills and like, is there enough story to get to the kills to keep the kills moving? Like these things are machines, and does the machine work? As we find out with a lot of the horror movies we covered, sometimes the machine breaks down about halfway through. But usually your first movie is when the machine's running like a dream, fresh out of the market. It's going great. And I would say this one's pretty close. I don't really have a ton of complaints when it comes to this movie. I've never been a fan of the ending. I think they ferociously dropped the ball on the ending. It's a little like oddly confusing, and I don't know why. It just feels like they lost gas or they lost time or budget. I don't know what it is, but the ending has never stuck the landing for me. Apparently it lost five what?
No, I had a question. I was gonna.
There were
like
5 endings. There were 5
No,
different...
it's. I felt it was cheap. Oh, it's all a dream.
Yeah.
That's literally it's everything that you've seen in this movie is a dream until the very end. Spoiler.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Phantasm does it better.
It's like Dallas in the shower scene when they reintroduce Patrick Duffy. It's a dream. Going back to the it's a horrible motif. It's all a dream. I get that your focus is dream, but it just doesn't work. That's why I like New Nightmare.
For a movie that does so much what's real and what's not, I don't think it suits itself well.
No. It's a fumbled ending. I honestly think that's why this one is like my third favorite out. Like we talk about the original 3, which we'll get to. Like when we get to the ranking this thing, we're gonna bring in the other 2 guys. We're gonna talk about them all together. But like the ending on this one being just a little bit weaker, and I'm just saying the very ending, because the actual ending of like the Home Alone-esque like traps that she sets for Freddy, all that brilliant. Nancy's one of my favorite final girls in any horror franchise because of that stuff. It's great. It's just when you get past that the ending kind of goes like, oh, I was having so much fun, and then you dropped it. Like
even that that ending. Well, we'll get there.
We'll get there. So let's start at the top. So the beginning of this movie does something that no other horror movies really do, and I think it's great. It picks up in the middle of the conflict.
Yep.
Like by the time the movie starts, they're already having the nightmares, and they're already having these joint nightmares, and they're just now, the movie picks up when they're getting to the point where they're willing to talk to each other about them. We don't know how many they've had. We don't know how consistent they are, but we know Tina, right? Tina just had Tina just had her worst one yet. And her dream is kind of boring when you think about it. It's just like her in this very long white nightgown, just kind of running away from a creepy guy.
With really big arms.
Really big. Well, that comes later.
That's in the first. Is that in the first dream?
No, that's the one where she actually dies.
Oh.
So the opening is not where she dies. So it's just the creepy guy. You never really see his face or anything. But it works. It's like a good opening for the movie, kind of sets the tone. And unlike most movies that we watch in the horror genre, she survives. She actually gets to go talk to her friends about this horror thing that started the franchise, which we usually don't get. Like you look, even Wes Craven doesn't always do that. Drew Barrymore gets brutally murdered in the beginning of Scream, especially if we watch the uncut one there. Holy smokes.
So that's again, it's playing with the expectations though, isn't it? Like the way that they're setting Drew Barrymore up to be the main character.
Lead,
she's on the poster, and and I think they kind of do that again in Nightmare on Elm Street, because they set up Tina to be the main character and then offer in like 15, 20 minutes or so.
What I like about the sequence too is the glimpses. Like you don't really see Freddy until he's actually gonna murder her, but like just the glimpses that you get of him are really dark and foreshadowing, and I really enjoyed that. If you got there's a version of this movie. One of the first cuts, like it was a long shot when she's walking back up to the camera in the boiler room. You can see Robert Englund hunched over, and as she's walking forward, you can see him move over to jump up behind her. But it's still a scary thing, because even when you look at it, you're like, he's right there, like what? And it's still like it's just that raw.
Yeah, it's not behind you. Look behind. Okay, so we're gonna have to do Scream at some point.
Right.
There's 6 of them. We can do it. But yeah, totally. Like I don't mind seeing him as long as the character doesn't see him. As long as it doesn't look like a flaw, like it still works.
And it's dreamlike as well, so that kind of works as well, because it is that sort of, dreams are always kind of really weird. Like what I like as well is when they start. There's a conversation in the film where they say like, "What are dreams?" like that, and was kind of thinking, it got me thinking a little bit like, yeah, dreams are a weird thing because it's something that your brain is creating, but you're very much just a bystander to it. Like
Yeah.
you can't control the dream. Like a dream
Yeah.
just kind of happens.
Well, and
Like,
a lot of this stuff happening in dreams, it spans the playground. Like
Yeah.
it gives so many
Yeah.
different opportunities for creative kills or scary situations.
Which is why, like, I'm 9 weeks away from this, but like when you get to the remake and it's so subdued and boring, it's like now we actually have like technology and the money and everything to just really go ham and go nuts with this dreamscape, and they do nothing. It's so disappointing because I feel like this movie in particular really showed like we don't have a lot of money, we don't have a lot to make this happen. We're gonna go as hard and as weird as we can, and I think that's great. Like I'm all for that. Like crazy violent, crazy weird, and kind of goofy at times, almost makes you laugh. Like, yeah, that's my speed. And I think they do a good job of that in this one. And it really does start with this beginning opening of like this kind of weird dream-ish thing where she's getting chased, and then the next morning she's just talking to her friends about it. And then her friends are like,
Yeah.
I had a nightmare too. And then Johnny Depp shows up, introducing Johnny Depp in the
Yeah,
credits,
yeah.
which is great.
I said, do they do that for most actors if it's their first?
It's a credit thing. It depends on your agent.
Yeah,
Okay.
sometimes
Yeah.
it happens if it's your first sort of role. Sometimes you'll get like an introducing credit.
From what
Um,
I looked it up once before, and if you have a lot of roles booked and they think you're going to blow up, they can sometimes argue for that title card.
Okay.
And Johnny Depp seems like somebody who could have been fit in that bill. But we'll see. I don't know. Maybe his career will go places. We'll find out.
I was watching this with Charlotte. I actually got her to sit down and watch a horror film. She doesn't like them very much. She just thinks they're stupid. But I had to point out
She's
Johnny
not
Depp. 'Cause she's
wrong.
like,
I love them.
that's
She's not wrong.
She's like, that's Johnny Depp, because like I guess she's just used to like how he looks now, like but young
Right.
Johnny Depp, like young sort of fresh faced.
This is pre-drugs.
20? Yeah, like
Yeah.
what is he? 21,
Pre-Amber Heard.
22?
Yeah, pre-Amber Heard as well.
Well,
All his
yeah.
fingers still. Yeah, who would have thought that bloody bed would not be the grossest thing he finds in a bed?
And that's gonna do it for us today.
You know when you have something in that first episode of a first series that we're recording, you're just like this is going to set the tone for the rest of the series. We just got it right there.
We didn't have to wait for, was it Tokyo Drift 3 that we made that joke? Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh no, Fast and Furious 3. Jesus Christ, we've done too
Fast
many.
and Furious. Friday
Tokyo-
the 13th, Tokyo Drift 3.
Not
I'd
that
watch it.
Halloween. That Halloween.
That Halloween.
Oh yeah,
Not to be confused with Halloween.
Halloween.
Yeah.
We've done too many franchises. That's our whole thing. So, all right, but anyhow, I do like the I don't remember what Johnny Depp says when he's running away. I don't remember his character's name. He's gonna be Johnny Depp the whole time we're talking today.
Glenn.
Glenn,
Sure.
which I find hilarious because like every time
shut
he
up,
says
Glenn.
it- shut up, Glenn. Every time.
But yeah, so Glenn Depp, I don't remember what he says when he's walking away, but it's something enough to where Nancy yells after, wait, did you have a dream too? Like,
Yeah.
and I like that sort of like, oh, they're all
Foreboding.
somewhat affected. And it's
Yeah.
right out of the gate. We're barely 5 minutes into this thing and it's already happening. It's a really cool motif, and it's unlike anything else we have.
I appreciate in this movie the dialogue all seems realistic.
Yeah,
Like
it reminds me
the
of-
character interactions, the communication between each other. It feels genuine. It doesn't feel like I'm being these character archetypes. You know,
It's the Halloween thing. So if you go back and watch the first Halloween film, the teenagers in that, they feel like teenagers when they're talking. You know, when they're walking
Right.
through the street and
Totally feel like teenagers.
it's just like it is that kind of. I mean, like the dialogue, not looks. They look like 40. But what I mean is like the dialogue. It feels very kind of like natural, like what teenagers would be talking about and things like that. And the same in this film as well.
Oh, the fake out with the jukebox, like that's total teenager like nonsense.
Yeah,
Like him trying to like convince his mom that he's like out somewhere, and then like the tape changes like to a car accident. Oh, I think there's a car accident. Yeah, I'll call the
Mom, I'll
police,
call
mom.
the
Yeah,
police.
I'll call the police. Yeah, someone's hurt. And just, ah!
I love that. It's so funny as well. Just no. It's just someone, and then he just like pulls the tape and is like, yeah, I think someone's just having a fight. I'm gonna go check.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mom, I'll call the police.
So funny. But I agree. Yeah, like that feels like teenagers. This feels like teenagers messing around a little bit. And then even like more teenage stuff. Like you get the character Rod. Rod's character to me is fascinating because he's the tough guy. You know, he's got his
Yeah.
leather jacket. He's tough. You know, nothing scares him.
He's got a switchblade.
He's got a switchblade. You know, he likes to fuck his girlfriend hard. Like he's like Jesus Christ. Like he wants everyone to hear it. And it's like, okay, like this guy's a lot, but he's a teenager. Like he's just a fucking idiot. And
Yeah.
like to the point where like I don't remember, like they bang, they make their friends listen to them bang, which is so weird. So glad that never happened to me in my life ever. It's just awkward, but so it's done, and she's like, that's exactly what I needed. No more nightmares. Like, yeah, no more nightmares. And she's like, wait, you're having nightmares too? And you get that slight moment of vulnerability from him, where he's like,
Yeah.
well, not only girls have nightmares, and it's like he was a little offended. He was hurt. Like his tough exterior was just dented a little, and like that's a cool subtle moment you don't get in these sorts of slashers. Like there's something going on in there. Like he's not just this tough exterior. Like he actually is going through something.
There's characters there. Like
yeah,
in a lot. Like we go back on some of the Friday the 13th, some of the Halloween films, and there's no characters there. They're just teenager 1 who's ready to be killed, teenager 2 who's ready to be killed. Whereas these ones have got very defined characteristics. You know, we have like Rod, the tough guy, and stuff like that. And then you've got Glenn, who's like is into music a bit more, and that, you know, you kind of feel like, oh, he might be like in a band or something, or he wants to be in a band.
Well, they call him the jock at one point, but yes, he looks more like the band type of guy. Like he's Johnny. He looks like Johnny Depp.
Yeah, well, yeah, but then you have like Tina, who is, you know, and you get like there's a lot in the characters, like the parents' background as well. Like, you know, you see like Tina's mom is clearly not in a great place. Like she seems like she's
a little
divorced.
She's around.
Yeah, she's divorced, trying to find a new dad for Tina every week.
Wrong places.
And then you have I'm blanking on her name now. Nancy, thank you.
Nancy's mom's an alcoholic.
Nancy's mom, an alcoholic.
Rip-roaring alcoholic.
Yeah.
And they do really kind of not, I'm going to say subtle. It's not really subtle because we are seeing it, but they show things of like, you know, this is what an alcoholic does. When she's hiding the vodka bottles in the towels. Yeah. And it's very much like, oh, this is like subtle for these kind of films. And it's really kind of clever the way it does it, because it kind of ramps it up. Because you get this, like, whenever you see there's something about her that seems a bit, she doesn't seem quite all there. And then as the film progresses, you're like, she's alcoholic.
She's an alcoholic.
Yeah. And they even have moments where Nancy acts as sort of the quasi-parent to her.
Yeah.
You know,
the way she calls her mother, it's mother, and it's just, but it's not that kind of dicky, bitchy high school person who's just like, I'm rebelling, mother, and all that sort of. It's more like, no, I'm having to be the freaking adult because you're hammered all the time.
It's one of those things where like it reminds me of a thought I had a long time ago. Like, and you know, God rest him, he's one of the best. But like, had Wes Craven not chosen horror to be like his artistic paintbrush, he would have been one of our Academy Award winning like A-list directors. He's such a good director. Like, it was just absolutely insane. He just chose horror. That's what he liked to do. But he's still bringing a quality level directing to everything he directs, and it's just so good. And it's these sort of things. It's like the Rod having his, you know, his vulnerability, but just being one aspect, which, you know, kudos to the actor as well. These are all teenagers, and that guy really brought it, like, to the point where his girlfriend gets brutally murdered in front of him. One of the most brutal out of any of the horror trinities in their first movies. Man, they get a violent one, way more violent than we thought. Tina getting murdered is brutal. And he breaks, like, he is like a broken man throughout the rest of the movie because of that. And like the actor sells it, and he does a great job with it.
I was gonna say this, like they, you know, you have that. He's the one character that really, him and Nancy, I think, are two characters that really do the dynamic shift. And what I really like here is that, you know, you have got this tough guy, quick to whip out the switchblade. He he's crumbling. Like he's literally being stripped away of all that armor, whereas Nancy is getting stronger. And I even like that moment right before they all go to bed is he whips out the switchblade and she doesn't back down. She literally grabs the switchblade from his hands and puts it back and hands it back. Like she's not afraid. So it's almost like a passing of the baton. So I mean, it's just to see him, the male, slowly go in on himself and the other one slowly starts to become who she is. I thought that was really good in terms of the dichotomy of characters. So that was really well done or well written.
It's very much that kind of that's it speaks to that idea of someone who's like outwardly, trying the hardest to be the tough person isn't really usually the tough person.
Yeah.
The quiet ones are the ones that are usually the more tough because they don't need to like, what would they call it, like peacocking or something like that. The one that's really like really massive, like they're usually not the one to be worried about. Like in terms of like if you were to get in a fight with them, it's the quiet one you want to be worried about because like
he's a chicken hawk.
Yeah. Yeah. But there's
perfect
also
description.
But before we move on to other people, the one thing I will say about Rod and Wes Craven and all of it before we move off of this is a character that I think in most horror movies we as an audience would hate and would be designed to be hated. Like you can't wait for this guy to get his. And they do such a good job that by the time, and granted, out of everyone Freddy kills, correct me if I'm wrong here, Ryan, because you've seen more than I have, this might be the nicest kill he gives anyone. And sure, it's a hanging and it's brutal, but most people get kind of ripped up. He gets hanged and it's horrible and it's brutal and it's sad, of course, but like he doesn't have to go through the torture. Most of them will have to.
Yeah.
And it's all fairly quick too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
it's not even like he doesn't really even chase him in a dream that we know of. We just kind of see that he wraps the thing around his neck and this is a smart kill because
I was just gonna say this is where Freddy is different. He's smart. He has to make it look like a suicide.
Yep.
And even then, like he doesn't die by choking. Like if you watch, it pulls tight enough that it breaks his neck.
Snaps.
Yeah.
So
it's like that sort of second or something where he goes, and then he goes,
Yep.
The other part is it's mostly seen from Nancy's perspective, not his perspective, right?
So the entire dream. In her dream.
Yeah, so the entire time, like they do snippets where she's looking at it and being like, I have to find something to save him with. And I think that sort of outsider view makes it a little more sympathetic too.
Yeah, for sure.
There's some great moments in that, like when they do, like, given the fact that this is a low budget film as well, there is some really cool moments of visual elements, like effects work, where
Tina's
Freddy
death. Holy smokes.
Tina's death, amazing. Like, but that's very sort of practical.
Yeah.
Then you have like Freddy walking through the bars like they're not there.
That's good. Yeah.
You look at it and you're just kind of like,
that's slick.
I can't see the seams on that. It's very, very well done. And he just kind of like just goes straight through them.
Yeah.
And it is, again, because it's very low budget and it's pre-CGI. So that's going to be like optical effects or blending of whatever, however you do that sort of stuff. And it kind of speaks to the quality of the filmmaker.
Yeah.
That they're able to set up this, like, you get the shot there, you do all the elements that you need to do and are able to composite that together and make it so seamless.
And it's great too because he doesn't waste it. I mean, he built the rotating room and he used it twice, and that's genius. Yeah. If I'm gonna build this thing, and the first one was very effective. I mean, Tina's death, and strapping Rod into the far corner, so he's actually hanging upside down, and she's rolling around in the room. So I mean, that's brilliant, and it's effective. And then just to like let her fall down and spray him with blood. Great. There's some things that I'm just like when Tina's being chased and you've got the long arms, that didn't work for me.
Oh, the long arms have not aged well. No,
they're pretty silly.
Again, it kind of works because it's a dream, because it's supposed to look creepy,
but the practicality of it does not work.
I think if it was a tone darker
and
you just saw faint outlines of it,
it
would probably have aged better. But you see too much of the dangling arms, the sleeves,
the bend,
and it's like,
the bend in the arm. But my favorite too is when she's being chased by Freddy and then she runs into Freddy. The body double is so bad The guy's just like.
Oh, I like that though. I like the weird, weird way he runs. Like it's kind of like
Every time I watch that
when
sequence,
you're
I'm
a
like,
kid
fall,
and you're
fall,
running to the
fall,
park, you're
fall,
overly
fall.
excited.
I think they were probably going for something that was more like, some of these movies or games, it's the unnatural sort of non-human way that they'll skitter or launch or move that makes it unsettling.
I don't. For the 80s, I don't think we're there yet. I think that's purely a 2000s thing, because if it was, Freddy would move around the same way, just like that. He would run after people, and he doesn't.
Yeah,
So
I guess I don't. It doesn't. I think because knowing I'm watching this older movie and whatnot, I think it all still mostly works.
It
Like I can
works,
watch it,
but
yeah.
I laugh every time.
I agree. Yeah, it's. I mean, these movies aren't scary to me anymore, but I don't know who they really would scare. Like we're too far past it. It's funny now.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, I think for the time that they came out, I think we talked about this on Friday the 13th and Halloween. The time they came out, they were probably terrifying because it's never been done before.
Yeah.
But we've seen these kind of films throughout the years done again and again and again, like ad nauseum. Like these films, like these three films, Halloween, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, they've spawned so many things that have ripped them off. They've spawned so many kind of spoofs of them, like how the Simpsons in one of the Halloween specials did a Nightmare on Elm Street, even using the same music as well. And it's just one of those things where it becomes so much of a pop culture thing. It's difficult to find them scary anymore.
But even with that, this movie has tension in spades.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh,
And that's why it works in spite of that, the confrontation's not feeling that scary.
And like that's where like sorry, go ahead.
What? No, you. The next dream sequence is the scariest for me.
Oh, that's where I was moving. So go ahead.
The next dream sequence where the police have already gotten robbed, so Nancy is feeling really bad about herself, but she falls asleep in class, and they're reading Julius Caesar, and it's the part where his monologue about where he has bad dreams. Perfect cue for that. But then she sees Tina in the bag.
Yeah.
I can't. That is frightening to me, and I don't frighten very well. But I'm like, there's something very eerie about your friend looking at you, and
in a bloody body bag, like
and pawing the body bag, and then when you go out in the hall, you see her and you're pulling her, but the arm flaps out. Like it is just so realistic that makes it so good. And then of
just
course,
the move of dragging her out, like you don't see dragging, you just see the feet go up and then just get dragged. Like it's just
the invisible force dragging the body. I'm looking at that every time, like going, I can't see wires. I don't know how they did it.
Everything
like, there's something, but like they hide it. So this movie does creep really well.
Yes.
Yeah, it does. And it's that innovation that's kind of lost, I think, nowadays. Because nowadays it's just like, we'll just paint out in CGI, or we'll just CGI it over. Whereas back in the day, you didn't have that option. So it's kind of like, right, well, we want this to be like really creepy. We don't want to see what's pulling it. So what let's get like this color wire for it to blend into the background, or like do the lighting or something like that. And it like even in the 4K, I could not see a wire. Now I don't know if they've gone in and like done a bit of tinkering on that.
I mean, they might have, but either way,
might have done, but not usually with these kind of films. We're not talking about George Lucas or James Cameron here. It's it's very much kind of like there, and it's really well done, and it's a really well made film. Like if anything, I would say that A Nightmare on Elm Street is probably the best made of the films in this like unholy trinity. In terms of like the innovation, I know there's a lot in Halloween.
I was gonna say Halloween.
I was gonna say Friday the 13th. I was gonna be wrong, but I'm still gonna say
it.
The first ones. I mean, but in Halloween, it's camera work in Halloween. In Friday the 13th, it's gore effects, but then in this one, it's camera techniques and like the kind of the sort of like practical side of that. Like
I'm gonna give Matt this one because Freddy is supernatural, so you have to do more with illusion, and you don't have that with Halloween. So you have to come up with these practical effects and seemingly gimmicks. Even when Tina is fighting Freddy and she rips off his face, I'm like, holy crap, that holds up.
Yeah.
I would argue the only reason why I give just the slight, maybe a little bit less, is because out of the three of them, this one clearly had the biggest budget. This one had more money going into it, which gave it a little bit more rope, but it needed it, and like it used it well. They used every penny brilliantly. So it's like we're arguing over inches here, but I'd agree with Matt ultimately.
It's funny because New Line Cinema was going bankrupt, and I think at this point they just started throwing money at projects, and this one saved New Line Cinemas.
The house that Freddy built was New Line's thing. But I was having the argument with Charlotte the other day actually because they did Lord of the Rings as well.
Yeah,
and that
no,
saved New
everyone
Line.
Thinks that
Lord of the Rings saved New Line again.
Yeah.
But that was the thing. It's like if you think of New Line Cinema, you don't think of Lord of the Rings, like because you don't really associate that with New Line Cinema.
I think of Ninja Turtles. Is that weird? That's where my head goes.
Yeah, but it's that sort of thing. Like you don't. If you think Lord of the Rings, you just think, oh, it's Lord of the Rings. You never ever say, oh, well, that studio made it. It was
I usually think Warner Brothers, but that's because I live down the street from Warner Brothers, and they like to be proud of their Lord of the Rings. So,
but that's the thing.
Geographical,
you don't think New Line Cinema.
I don't think New Line. No.
If you think of New Line Cinema, like there's certain films that will come to mind, and I bet you Lord of the Rings is pretty far down that list.
Yeah.
Like for me, Nightmare on Elm Street, The Mask is another one that comes out because like it's that sort of that opening thing as well, and the Turtles film, The Hidden, which is an amazing film. I love The Hidden, but and there is a reason why New Line in the 80s was very much a horror house because they had these successes with these kind of lower budget horror films off the back of Nightmare on Elm Street, and then it allowed them to branch out into other things, and I think it's a testament to everything working really well. Like Wes Craven's direction is fantastic. Robert Englund is brilliant as Freddy Krueger, and like all the supporting cast and everything. But also the sound design and the music is kind of creepy.
The music for me is the weakest out of the three, but I mean, it is
pretty weak. Like it's not got that. There's no sort of like theme. Like with the Halloween theme is very. It's very.
What I will say for this movie though, with the music is that dun dun, it has that nursery rhyme type feel to it.
Yeah.
That's what I was getting to. So like the nursery rhyme in it works really well. And actually, I was expecting more of that. I think it's just one of those things because like going to Freddy vs. Jason when we get there, 1, 2, 3. You know why they're saying that, right? Because it means they're coming for you, and it's just like, and it just kind of feels like a motif of like the nursery rhyme that's going through the whole films, and it only shows up twice, and it's the beginning of the film and it's at the end of the film.
Yeah,
and that's kind of it. And I just think it has a real impact though, like for something that you kind of associate with that sort of character, and it only appears in the beginning and the end of the film.
For sure.
Does Freddy come for Bryan?
I could have sworn I heard somebody walk in my apartment, and my family's in here. Give me 1 second. If I die,
Bryan, the door's opening behind you.
Don't say that.
There's a hand with knives on it, finger knives.
The mean old man with the claws.
I mean, he should have taken us with him.
Yeah.
So like, we'd be able to identify the killer.
Burbank police. Yes, my friend is being brutally murdered on the computer. Could you go help?
Just end up accidentally swatting his house.
My front door was wide open. Just a little unnerved. I walked around. There's no one here, but my front door was wide open. So
there's no one here. I also had no possessions in the other side of the.
That's the other thing. I walked. I'm like, the fuck? And then I'm like, all right, is my PS5 Steam Deck still here? Okay, everything's still here. I don't know what that was. I'm really hoping they just forgot to close the door and the wind just blew it open. And that's what I heard when I'm like, did somebody just walk in my apartment?
What I'm loving here is in my head now, I have a thing playing where there's 3 guys robbing you, but listening to what you're saying, going, you know what? That sounds like really interesting. I'm going to see if I can find whatever it is that he's recording because it's so good.
That'd be hilarious. I also love this happened
on the episode. It's like, hey, we're the guys who robbed you. We found this out after we were in there robbing you. It sounded really good, and it was a really good episode, guys.
By the way, thanks for the PS5. Yeah, I love this happened. Now I have to leave part of this in. I'll cut down when I walked away for a little bit, but the fact that I got freaked out while we're covering our first horror movie in forever is that's pretty cool.
We're
Pretty
doing
cool.
our job, guys.
Yep. All right, let's move on.
We've
I
had
don't
too
remember
long a
where we're-
break between horror films, and we're getting freaked out.
I feel like we gone down a bit of a rabbit hole. Let's get back into this thing. Pretty much everyone's dead except for Johnny Depp and Nancy at this point, right? That's kind of where we're at chronologically.
Yep,
Yeah.
pretty
More or
much.
less.
All right. So at this point, Nancy is she's figured it out. She's we don't really see how she does it, but she has to go to that dream study and she figures out how to pull things out of her dream. We don't see the dream where she does it, but she
don't
comes
think
out of the
she-
dream holding the hat.
I don't think
Uh,
she figures it out in terms of like, oh, I'm going to grab his hat and then I can be able to pull
It's
it
just
out.
a
I think
scuffle.
It just happens.
it's-
Yeah.
Yeah.
they're in the middle of a fight and she gets woken up and like she must have had a hold of the hat or something.
She
and
Yeah.
it's
leg
like, oh,
dropped
God.
Freddy and just took his hat on the way out.
Yeah, because it does.
Yeah.
She pulls it out from like under her covers, like ta-da! It's like,
Yeah.
what? How? Where were you when you grabbed? You know what? Forget it. All right, we figured out how we can get things out of
She
the
was
dream.
she was trying to choke him with her legs, like Mel Gibson in Lethal Weapon. I'm guessing.
Perfect. I mean,
don't
why
know.
not? I would have gone Sonya Blade, but yeah, we're on the same page. It was a little bit weird, but I'm okay with it. Like, I think that's kind of what I like about the Nightmare series is like because it's so weird and funky. We have these like I can pull things out of my dreams. I'm like, yeah, sure, that makes sense. Why not? Like they make the world make sense enough that these very stupid things. I'm like, yeah, I buy that. It works.
But when she pulls him out later on, like when she wakes up, she's not still holding him. He's off the side of the bed as well. So I guess it's kind of like how the item that you're pulling out comes through. So it doesn't necessarily appear where it was in relation to you.
That's weird, but I just assume he fell off the bed because it's not like he's far away. He's right next to
Yeah.
her. Like so, maybe while she was thrashing, she threw him off, and then he's just next to her, and he's like, "What the hell am I? I'm a dream guy. Am I a real boy?" So it just took him a second while he's laying on the ground. Then he woke up. He's like, "Bah!" That's what I'm assuming happening.
I'm gonna wait for her to think that she's crazy, then I'm gonna jump up in like a really dramatic fashion.
Yeah, no, I'm guessing he's just laying on the ground going, "Where am I?" Like that's not a plan. It's just like
This isn't
oh.
my. This isn't my
Yeah,
thing.
he's just figuring things out.
This isn't my creepy boiler room.
Like, am I in a girl's bedroom?
The whole pulling things out of the dream works for me because at the end, when we get the idea that this is a dream, it kind of negates that. Whereas in other sequels, they play into that. And I'm like, okay, this just doesn't work. Now it's just kind of like a trope that they do. But it works because it's like she has to figure out in her dream a way to defeat the villain. And that's what her brain processes. So that's what makes her a smart final girl is that her brain is processing, oh, we'll do this and then they'll pull it out. So
she's actually trying things, which most
yeah.
final girls, in fact, every horror franchise we've watched, most franchises, the final girl's job is to run the fuck away. And she's
Scream
like,
a bit and then sort of like trick the killer.
yeah. And this one, she's like, nah, you're coming to my house. I'm going to fuck you up. And it's like,
Yeah.
I really like that about Nancy. But what gets her there is the death of poor Glenn. Poor Glenn. Why she thinks asking Glenn to stay awake after the first time she tried and he failed so horribly was going to go well the second time, I don't know. But it didn't go well.
I mean, why
his
can
parents
Glenn
did
not
help.
stay awake? Why can Glenn not stay awake for 20 minutes though? Like
Man-
she
man,
calls and
like,
says, "Meet me at midnight." It's 11:20.
He's got that
11:20.
tube TV on his pelvis, listening
Yeah.
to music. It's like you're already crushing yourself. Does Freddy really need to come over and finish his job?
He's the early version of the TikTok kids. He's doing like 15 different things at once and not paying any attention. No attention span.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm not fully guilty of where he's at, but I do like to when I play my Switch, I like to have the TV on in the background. I don't know why, I just do.
But you don't sit with your TV in your lap, though.
No, I don't know anyone who's ever done that other than Johnny Depp, and then he died, really died. Not just died, like holy smokes, he gets liquefied.
There's
Like-
nothing left of him.
Like, he gets so liquefied, he drips through the ceiling into the floor below him. Like it is just like
There's a
holy
line.
Lord.
I just look like a random cop outside. It's like you won't need a stretcher up there. You'll need a mop. And I love that. And it's just like very much like, yep, true.
Or when the police officer goes upstairs and one of the guys in passing said like the coroner's been throwing up for
Yep.
the last
Yeah.
5 minutes, something like that. Like it just really visceral descriptions without showing the aftermath necessarily.
Yeah.
And again, a great use of the rotating room.
Oh
we're
my
gonna
God.
we're gonna load buckets of blood and dump them into this bowl and just let them drop to a ceiling. And then like there's even one part where you see the room kind of tilt and you see the blood go this way.
I
Yeah,
noticed
it's
that.
so cool. I love it.
I'm like, that's awesome.
Because it gives it that kind of weird, freaky, dreamlike element to it as well, where gravity is not even affecting it in the right way. And it is that kind of, you're looking at it like not knowing that there's a rotating room, so you're going, wow, how did that happen then as well? Because it is just so surreal, like the way that it does that. It's
like the
10 out of 10.
reason we have 9 of these movies to talk about is this sequence. Like this is what just made everyone go like, holy shit. Like I've seen Jason stab people, or Jason's mom stab people. Oh, this is 84. So I've seen Jason stab people. I've seen Michael stab people. I've never seen this. Like, at least not in the mainstream. I guess if you're like a big fan of Argento, you've seen buckets of goo before, but like this isn't like for horror fans. This is for everyone. So like this is the first like mainstream person to go that hard, and like Jesus, that's a lot of goo. And quite honestly, Glenn, I don't think Glenn deserved that. Like, out of everyone who gets murdered in this movie, he gets it by far the worst. Now, Glenn, luckily for us, we don't really have to watch him get that tortured at all. It's mostly just like, oh, I'm asleep. Oh, what's going on? Whoa, 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 and then that's it. But
Johnny Depp does like there's a reason why Johnny Depp became as big a star he is, because that sort of like him being pulled down and like the panic and like as he's clawing to try and stay up, like there's you are buying that panic so well. It's just the screaming, the shouting, they're like and it's so good.
So good. And then we skipped over the fact I love that Freddy calling her to be like to tease, I'm gonna kill your boyfriend.
I'm your boyfriend now.
Yeah, and then it's the
phone has like a tongue.
It's so gross.
Yeah,
I almost bought a replica one of those when I was in high school, or not high school, and when I was in college, because I thought.
Listen, man, whatever you
was it a working phone as well?
Yeah, it was like a Bluetooth phone that you could like link to your phone, and then you'd like carry it around. Like they had like those black ones you had for a while. Then somebody made a Freddy one, and it had a little slider on it, so when you slid down, the tongue came out. And I'm like, that's just amazing.
It's for those long distance relationships.
Yeah. I was in a long distance relationship, not at the time, but you know, it could have helped. But either way, so now Glenn is a puddle of goo. And the police have to go over, and Nancy is, you know, she's had it at this point. Her mom has drunkenly locked her into the building, put bars on the windows. Locked. It's all locked. Just nope, you're getting some sleep. Like, good Lord, mama.
We missed something though with Slosh Mommy when she took him down to the boiler and showed him the claws. We find out the backstory.
Getting the whole story of like you know, Fred Krueger, not Freddy, Fred.
And I do like that sequence has like it explains mom's alcoholism. Yes. Like she did something horrible. It was the right call. This dude was horrible. Like maybe murder's not the right call. Like, you know, like civil justice. But at the same time, if the system's failing and he's going to murder kids, I can't say I'm surprised, but I understand the guilt. Like I understand that, like I did the right thing. Yeah.
It also
but I
explains
still murdered somebody brutally. I burned.
It also explains Tina's mum as well. Cause Tina's mum's kind of like, she seems like a bit of maybe an alcoholic as well. Like after that first nightmare, she's sort of like, there's that random guy there, but she sort of opens on. She looks a bit like she's on something as well, and it's like you can sort of see the things being set up very subtly. There is something that the parents have done that is affecting them, because they're all kind of like messed up in some way.
And then you even take like the relationship of Nancy's mom and dad. They don't really talk. Like they are not co-parenting at all. Like they are going through their own shit. Like he dove fully into work and she drove into a bottle. Like and you can kind of see it happening because they don't really parent in the same way. So when Nancy's figured out what's going on and she's like, I need to go in my dream, I need to pull him out so my dad can just fucking shoot him in the face.
Yep.
She goes to her dad and basically begs, and he's like, yeah, just sleep. You said you're going to sleep.
Yeah,
please sleep. Like, go do that. Like, yeah, sure, I'll wake you up. Go to bed. Like, and you can understand where he's coming from. But then his fucking deputy jackass that he puts in charge of watching the house.
That guy is like the sheriff in Scream. So I think there's some crossover.
Oh, jeez, that's funny. The worst guy ever. Just like, I think I should go tell the lieutenant.
I love that line. Like, maybe I should go get the lieutenant. Where she's smashing the window and
She called,
screaming
"Hurry
at
up,
like,
you asshole!"
"Go get my dad, you asshole!"
Oh, it's so
Maybe I
good.
should go get the lieutenant.
Yeah, maybe. He did say if anything weird happens, and I guess his daughter is shattering every window in his house. That is a bit odd.
But we have to go back because before this, she does her preparation, and I call bullshit. There's no way she is staging all this shit in 20 minutes.
I'm fine with it. Like, I agree with you, but it's also like, whatever.
It's movie montage stuff. She's probably set
Yeah,
up
I was gonna say, do we know it's 20
beforehand.
minutes?
Yeah, she did. She said 20 minutes, but did she actually take 20 minutes? Like, I was supposed to leave at like 10:15. Did I leave at 10:15? No, I'm still talking to you fuckers.
It's fine. We're fine.
So, like, yeah, I get what you're saying though, because she does do a lot, and there's a lot of stuff that like we're taking for granted she just knew how to do, like the whole like the light bulb bomb and like the tripwire, like filing a hole into a light bulb.
She had the book, the improvised.
She has the book. It's like what library did she get that from? Improvised explosives.
80s were a wild time.
And again, like she has the book, but I have plenty of cookbooks that I have fucked up many a recipe in there, and she's like unscrewing shotgun shells with like gunpowder. Like there was a lot of stuff that she did, and like I don't know how she pulled that off. But whatever. I'm here for it. I'm enjoying it. She's the best because she's actually fighting Krueger, and that's great.
Mm-hmm.
I also like that we don't know for sure that Freddy knows what's going on, but I do like that she's like, I set a timer, and within that timer, I got to wake up to get him out. And it feels like he's aware of it because he's like, I'm going to take my time with this one. And
Yeah.
it's like, was it just she happened to get him at the time where he felt like playing with his food a little bit more, or did he actually aware of that timer? They don't really answer it. It could go either way, but I do like that added pressure, like that added, like, is this going to work or not? Like, I got to wake up and I got to get him out.
Mm-hmm.
And then when she actually does it and she pulls him in, she's hugging him. They have this weird, like the boiler room to the front of her house, budgetary. They couldn't really go to too many different places. But she's holding him and she wakes up, and you have that moment of, oh, he's not there. And she's like, oh, I guess I was just crazy. And like, and then you get that, rah! And that jump still gets me to this day. Like, I know it's coming every single time. Yep. And I still go, but damn it. Like every time.
I think what it is as well is, I think he's aware that there's something different because she's been staying awake for all this time, and then it's almost like she's willingly sleeping now. So I think he is a bit more like, oh, I'm not sure. I'm gonna just watch her for a little bit. But then I think he gets like murder blue balls too much and just like, I can't wait, and just like then kind of like wants to get her, and then it's because he spent all that time sort of like watching her. Enough time has been wasted where like all she has to do is just kind of hold on to him, and like she'll wake up in enough time.
Yeah. Yeah. How do you guys feel about the final fight between the two of them?
It's great.
I love it. Like, I think it's great.
It's kind of slapsticky.
Yeah,
and I like it. Like it's when he opens the door, the hammer comes down and hits him in the groin. It's like, oh, it's like,
yeah.
And then the tripwire with the thing, and it's all these kind of like, it's very Home Alone before Home Alone as well,
which is fun. Like, and it for a movie that, like, I'm trying to put myself in the shoes of like seeing it for the first time where it's actually scaring you. This is kind of like that relief of like, oh, you can fight back, or it's still scary, it's still violent, the mom still gets murdered in the end, I guess. So it's still kind of scary, but you have that moment of like, oh, I can kind of breathe again. Like it reminded me of like the only horror movie I can think of recently that had the same effect would be like the Babadook. Like the Babadook is so scary throughout, and you get to the end and the kid figures out he can fight back, and it's still scary, but it's like you have that moment of like, oh, I'm kind of okay. Like at least we can kind of even the odds a little bit. And this one really does a good job of that. And then it starts kind of falling apart. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I still think this movie's brilliant and I love it. But so we have, all right, the lieutenant or the sheriff across the streets being an idiot. He's not getting the police. So she has to actually finish the job. So what's she going to do? She's going to burn him again. Like, he's already been burned before. I know it works. I'm going to burn him again. So she lights him on fire. He gains about 50 pounds and his face turns into a big fire mask. It's hilarious, but I love a good burning stunt. And this is another good burning stunt. It's not Kane Hodder at the end of 7, but it's still really, really good.
I like as well that there's a visual element that kind of shows that he's afraid of fire.
Yeah.
Like, and we get that.
As soon as he gets doused, he's like, no, 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 no.
Yeah.
You know, he's got that memory of being burnt alive, and like, yeah, like you said, the minute that gets doused, he's immediately like, no, 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 and then like
Yeah.
the fire comes on, and then he's just like sort of screaming in pain. I really like the burning footsteps.
Yeah, I love the burning footsteps. I have a
I
note
think
about
the
that one. The burning fire steps are so, and they're out of control too. Like they
Yeah.
burned a little. Like, you're the one that does a little tornado up. It's like, oh geez, that's on fire.
80s, it's different time.
Yeah.
There's no health and safety back then. It's just
There's some fire marshal off to the side of that set just going shit, 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 shit.
You think they got a fire marshal in on that set?
I mean, maybe not, but in the 80s they did start having more security. It wasn't the 70s, so a little bit more. I mean, there's still pounds of blow, I'm sure, off the side of every single one of these sets, but you know,
that's what they were using to keep the fire burning.
Is blow flammable? I don't know.
I have no idea.
That's
I clearly am
for
so
another
out of the
podcast.
drug scene. I refer to it as blow.
Don't worry, Brian. We think you're cool and hip.
I'm not. Don't do that to yourself.
I'm cool and I broke my hip.
Peruvian nasal candy.
I am the epitome of the Mike Myers Dr. Evil. I'm cool. I'm hip. That's me. But yeah, so the ending, it's there, it happens. The weird sort of like, I love the fire steps, but does the fire steps pay off? Not really. He's kind of on top of her mom, like
Yeah, just sort
like,
of strangling her, and then they cover him with a duvet or something, and then it turns into like a skeleton that waves
into the
bye-bye
weird-
as it disappears
Yeah,
down.
It gets into a weird dream thing, but we get Freddy coming out of the bed, and that is
great.
that
I
is
love the
iconic.
Freddy come out of the bed, but then it also
It's it goes back to as well. We didn't mention it, but when Tina was having her nightmare, and you see Nancy in the bed, and he's coming through the wall.
Oh, that's right,
yeah.
yeah.
I
So-
love that effect.
Such an
like,
amazing
the way that
shot.
it's like it's just very sort of like creepy, and like the claw, the hands, and the face.
Yeah,
is
it's
pushing
so
against
good.
it. And then
Uh,
it's like, is it all one shot? I think when it goes back to the main wall, and then she knocks on it. It's so
brilliant.
good.
It's just brilliant.
It-
And this one, yeah, it does kind of call back to that with him coming up through the sheet, and it's like, yeah, I'm still here. And this is where like this is we're getting to the meat of why he's my third out of the top three, which we'll see as we go through this franchise. Maybe he'll make his way up. But the fact that you can beat Freddy by just going, nah, I don't believe in you. Nope, you were just a dream. See ya.
But
Like it
does she actually beat him? Because when we see the end thing, is he just? I don't know.
I don't know.
That's where it
This is
all
the
comes
weird
in.
thing with this film.
The end
ending
is
just-
implied that they're still in a dream and
Yes.
that Freddy's entrapped them in the car.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
And I get that, but it's still like she thinks she beats him. Like, it just
What dream are we on?
yeah.
Well,
Like,
that's the thing. The end feels more like a dream. The end, sorry, feels like
Yeah.
more of a dream than any other part of the film. Like they
Yeah.
go out, it's really bright, it's kind of foggy.
like a little
She
overexposed
comes
a bit.
down.
Like yeah.
When the roof comes over the car, it's his jacket. It's like his jumpers
Yeah.
or that sort of
Kind of like your
stripiness.
gloves, actually.
everything is sort of squeaky cleanish. It almost like Leave It to Beaver-ish kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
sensibility.
that's why it's kind of like I don't know what they were going for though, and I don't
Neither
know
do I.
if like I'm just inferring on, well, no, actually, Freddy did win. She turned her back on him, and that doesn't stop him. And he's just sent her into this other sort of dream to get to lull into a false insecurity before then killing her.
That's sort of where my mind went to.
Yeah.
But again, you have to sort of stretch a little bit to make it make
You
sense.
really, I think you have to put in a lot of the sort of legwork because they kind of dropped the ball on. If that's the intention, they didn't really do a good job of that.
Yeah, it's a weird misstep in a movie that's so good. Then you get to the
Mhm.
ending and it's like this just doesn't. It's not that it's bad, it's that it just doesn't fully work. And like I'm not sure, it feels either like studio notes or like they were going for something they just didn't quite land, or they couldn't really figure out what to go for, so they want to leave it in the audience hands. And instead they just kind of went for all of it, and it just kind of, I don't know.
I'm
It's
kind of
fine.
intrigued to read the script. Maybe not the whole script, but like the end of like the original sort of script to see what that was, and because it could literally just be down to like a budgetary thing as well. It's like, oh, we don't have money to do this sort of big finale thing, so we'll just kind of have to stitch this
Just
together because it's
sort of end it.
it-
Yeah.
yeah, because it just does. It feels just like it's the end. Like, and all the kind of horror film franchise we've covered, none of them have really done that
No.
in an end. It's like Halloween,
Yeah.
the first Halloween film kind of just ends, but it kind of just ends on a climax and
Yeah.
in a
Mhm.
really good climax. Like Loomis comes, shoots Michael out the window, goes out,
Gone.
and he's gone.
Yeah.
He looks out and he's gone. And like that's a great ending.
Great ending. Great,
Would-
a great open door for a sequel, or just a great ending on its own. Just absolutely perfect ending.
But with this, then it's just kind of like she turns her back, she doesn't look at him, she goes out of the door, and he just sort of like goes to stab her and goes, "Nyah," and then gets beamed away by Scotty or something.
Yeah,
Like,
but then like it also has this weird like she demands things from him. I want my mom back. I want my friends back. And then she
Yeah.
kind of gets
Yeah.
that, but it's also kind of doesn't get. It's just like I could have spent the entire hour that we're talking today on this ending, and it would have just been more like confused. Whereas I think everything that leads up to the ending is so good that it's mostly okay. It's a shame that it's like this banana has one hell of a bruise on it.
Yeah.
yeah. And that's the problem as well, because if this was like partway through the middle of the film where it was having this, it's not as bad, but because it's the end,
It's what you leave with. It's like
it's the last thing you leave with, and also you've got to have that sort of climax to like have you leaving going, yeah, that was amazing, that was great. If you kind of drop the ball at the end, it does really affect your view of the whole final product.
yeah. Which is and I know there are fans out there. There might be people listening to this episode like the ending is perfect. What the hell is wrong with you? And it's like this is just our take on it. I do get why people like it. I do like movies that don't make sense. I like fantastic.
To be honest, if
Like-
if you do feel that way as well, write in and tell us why it is.
Yes.
And,
Yes.
and give us like, because it would get a discussion going as well, and then like it would give more context as to like what other people are seeing from that. We're just four dudes on a podcast who are talking shit for most of the time.
ATH
I'm not
podcast at
apologizing
gmail.
for my opinions.
Yeah, I'm not.
We-
I guess I am. But ATHpodcast at
I don't
gmail.com.
believe-
Let us know. Reach in. I mean, that's how
Yeah.
Matt even met us, was through that email. So reach out to that email. We do
Yeah.
read it.
I like having sort of a rule set in my mind of how these series work sometimes. Like you can create a construct with like these are the guidelines of what we expect or should expect. I have no clue what those rules are going to be for this, or if they're even consistent, but we'll see.
I think like the horror franchises like these, they do have like rules. And there is sort of like elements of that somewhere, but this ending just kind of doesn't even feel like it.
It's
Yeah,
not
it doesn't
warranted.
feel like it.
We've talked about warranted.
Yeah.
I mean, or earned. This ending is not earned. I feel
No.
like we're given this huge grand masterpiece to be like, oh, I'm taking all my power. Man.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
all in all, great movie. I wish it wasn't that one, especially coming right out of the gate with it, where it's like, oh, it's so good. Ending kind of sucks, but the movie's so good. Like I've never liked that review of any movie, and it's unfortunate that's what we have to start out with Nightmare on Elm Street, because the movie is so good. Up until the very ending, 9 out of 10, absolutely phenomenal. Ending like 5 out of 10, maybe 4, so it kind of brings the overall score down a little bit. But overall, I love watching this movie. I'm never gonna have a problem turning it on. Even with that ending. So that speaks volumes to how good the rest of it is. We need to wrap this thing up though. We've talked about everything. Now we usually do quotes, but it's a horror movie, so we do quotes and kills. So your favorite line and your favorite murder. And I'm gonna get this ball started or rolling. I know words. Favorite murder is of course Johnny Depp being liquefied in the rotating room and the fountain of blood. How could it not be that? It's absolutely brilliant. Practical effects at its best. We would never get a shot like that ever again in a movie today, and that's a shame, because this is fun to watch. Like just really cool stuff. And my favorite line comes from Nancy. I have to throw this thing in there. She's feeling real down, and she's super tired. All her friends are getting killed, and she looks at a mirror and she goes, "God, I look 20 years old."
Well, that's the other thing too. Like coming out with the nightmares, she ends up having like what is it, gray hairs?
Yep.
Yeah.
yeah.
From it.
So one
I
of
mean-
these sleep study, I think, because
Yep.
where she pulls the hat out as well. Yeah, she's got like the grey hairs and stuff like that.
I'll go.
That line.
Okay.
Mhm.
My favorite kill is Tina. I thought the first introduction of the rotating room was really cool, and how they did that was great. And my quote is from Glenn. Glenn, you get this feeling that he's like a little goody two shoes, but before he dies, he has a great douchey line. Miss Nude America is going to be on tonight. How can you hear what she's gonna say? Who cares what she says?
It's a bit weird that he says that to his mum, though.
Yeah.
that is.
They must have a really good relationship.
Hey, mom, I'm just gonna jack off for a bit.
That's kind of where I was afraid. Like I wasn't gonna make the joke. I feel like I made enough of those jokes today. But yeah, that is kind of a weird, like, gross.
Yeah.
All right,
Matt,
what's
you go.
Yeah.
My favorite line, because it's just so ridiculous. It's Glenn's dad when he picks up the phone when Nancy's called up, and Glenn's dad just takes the phone and goes, Glenn's asleep, he'll talk to you tomorrow. Hangs up the phone. You just got to be firm with these kids, that's all.
you just killed your son, my guy.
And my favorite kill, I mean,
there's only 4 of them.
Well,
Yeah,
that's the
not a
thing,
lot.
yeah. So it's like my favorite one is the blood bath,
Yeah.
I guess. Like the Glen one. It's just so good visually. And then the second one.
You talking about
Batista's
good
death.
visually? We didn't talk about the hand in the tub. One of the most iconic
Yeah.
scenes.
Oh, yeah.
It's so good. Like,
And then it pulls her through, like pulls
yeah.
her down
Oh
as well.
man, that sequence is amazing.
That's good.
And it's so like the timing on it is great because it's
Why
like
don't we do
she
that?
closes her
That's my
eyes and
favorite dream
then
sequence.
the hand comes up.
Oh, yeah, I guess we should
And
do some
it's a
favorite
funny
dream
comparison to
sequence
something like Jason, where it's like, tits galore everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is like more provocative in
Yeah.
a lot of ways.
Tits galore, the
She's
famous
vulnerable.
final girl
Yeah.
from Friday the 13th Part 3.
Yeah. I would have gone part 5 because she wears the white t-shirt throughout the entire ending sequence. Like,
Yeah,
calm your tits, my lady.
Oh boy. Quote, what the hell did that lieutenant? I don't know. What's the quarter got to say? He's been in the John Putin since he saw it. And I only chose that because Ryan took mine. But and Tina's got to be my kill. Like there's something, the bloodbath thing happens awfully quickly. The strangling's kind of, it's scary but unremarkable. That thing's terrifying.
Yeah, seeing her
And
get
you
dragged.
just think about if that was happening to you, that'd be the worst like 30 seconds.
It's
You can go.
It's the midair bits that get me. It's not her in the
Yeah.
ceiling writhing around. That's terrible. But her midair just writhing, like no gravity, that is awful. Like I mean, it's great. It's amazing. But like trying to think about it in poor Rod's shoes, like, oh God, she's just getting diced up in
that's the thing
midair.
with
Mhm.
Rod as well, is he's helpless there, and he's gonna get accused of it no matter what,
No
even if
matter
he didn't
what.
have a switch split, because
Yeah.
how are you gonna explain that?
Yeah.
Like something grabbed hold of her and spun around, and then like she was on the ceiling, and then she like started slashing. You're just gonna sound like a nutcase who's trying desperately to come up with an excuse to why you didn't actually kill her. And it goes back to like, yeah, Rod was screwed at that
Yeah.
moment. He was either going to prison or electric chair or whatever, or killed by Freddy. Like he's kind of like a tragic character in that respect.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Reminds me of like Stranger Things 4 a little bit with
with Eddie.
Eddie, yeah, Eddie becomes there's no explaining that.
Yeah,
Spoilers for Stranger Things 4.
Yeah. Is that it? Did we did everybody right? Yeah,
I think so.
All right.
I think so, yeah.
All right. So I have somewhere I have to be. So our wrap up's gonna be insanely quick. For plugs, be sure to check out our stuff. Listen to further past shows if you want to hear what that stuff is. And next week we got Freddy 2. Is it Freddy's Revenge?
Freddy's Revenge and the Dream Warriors.
Freddy's Revenge. Well, that's what we're recording, but for the people listening, it'll just be Freddy's Revenge. We're not going to do two movies in one episode.
We're past the good place now, Ryan. We don't do too.
Sorry, my mistake.
And I will say this one's this one has kind of like Halloween 3 has gotten more popular the further people have gotten away from it. Very polarizing. Some people hate the fuck out of it, and I understand that. I also understand why people like it. I have a lot of friends who hold it real dear to their hearts, and it's very, very big in the LGBT community as an allegory for coming out. So there's some very, very juicy things to dive into with this one, and I'm like very, very excited to talk about it. I'm just excited to get through all things Freddy. It's gonna be a good time. And that's all I got. I don't know how to end these. Like,
Later.
Like, go fork yourself.
Freddy's
Doesn't work.
coming.
Yeah, I don't like the
Freddy's
whole nursery
coming.
rhyme. We'll figure it out next week. We'll figure out what we do when we do.
You know why they sing that, don't you? It means he's coming for you.
Okay, maybe that's